Alright, welcome to episode 2. I hope you liked the episode. I hope you watched episode 1. Even if you didn't, I think you're going to have fun here today with me. Today we're going to start a look at the rear frame rails of the truck. As you know, this used to be a dump truck. This was a hoist. It had a 14-foot stake body on it. I think it was an old roofing truck. There was a bunch of shingles melted to the inside of the floor of the stake body by the time I got it. But there was some frame damage. I didn't realize till I really got it apart. I'm going to put up some still photos to show you what it looked like originally. But at some point, I think the frame had cracked in the back, and it was never straightened out. And then somebody put a boxing plate in on top of that, and an inside plate on the inside of the C channel, and repaired the crack while the frame was still crooked. So it's a bit of a mess, and I'm going to have to undo some of that work right now. I got a level. I actually bought a new level for this project, and I want to walk around and show you what I'm looking at in the scope of the project, and let's go from there. Alright, I actually purchased a brand new level for this project, so you can see I've got it leveled up. I'm right behind the cab, about a foot off behind the cab, and there's an old cross member here. This cross member has been modified at least once. Somebody's cut the rivets out and put these bolts on. Probably the guys who did the conversion for the dump, because the hoist is right in the center here. So probably they bolted off, and some of this is moved. We'll look at it in a second. While we're in here, let's look at these plates on the inside. And you'll see these plates used to extend past the inside edge of the frame rail. So I came in with a wheel and I cut these off, and I welded these plates back on. I suppose they're stiffeners for the inside of the C channel, but I am going to come in and box this back in later. My new truck is going to have a lot more horsepower than the little 259 V8 that's in it right now. Okay, let's go look at how vertical our frame rails are on the sides. You know, just while I'm walking around, I want to show you here that the tail end, I'm about 14 inches in from the tail of the truck, and that's pretty level there too. So I know that my frame rails are parallel to each other from front to back, at least up to this point. On the left side of the frame here, you'll see with the level there's a considerable gap. What I think has happened is that the frame cracked at some point, and they welded this boxing plate in to match the crack. I don't know exactly what happened here, but there was brackets here for the hoist and part of the dump body. This is part of what I was dealing with, some of this butched up welding and stuff. You know, say this wasn't nice even from whenever they did this, 1955 or something. That was in bad shape. The other side is similar, but still level across the top. So I don't think we ever had a problem really with this side frame rail as far as level across the top. So right up close to the cab, you're going to see that the bottom of this frame rail is actually tilted in on this side. I don't know how that happened, maybe an impact at some point, but that should be fairly easy to straighten out. As I come back about halfway, you'll see that we started turning the other direction, and the bottom of the frame rail is actually splayed out. This is some of that bad welding I talked about on the inside. I think that's where the crack was. And now when we look at it from behind, you'll see there's some kind of a bad plate welded on the inside of the frame there. And this frame is way off from vertical in the back. my bubble's off the scale here. I think I'm going to have to at least cut this and push it back in, heat up with a rosebud or something to make this straight again. The passenger side is off considerably also. So although the top is straight, this bottom end, this end kicks out here pretty good. So, and that's got a plate welded to the inside of it too. Not sure what I'm going to do here yet. Maybe I can just heat this up and straighten it. You can see my fore and aft is just not square at all. Not sure what's going to happen there yet. I'm going to have to cut that boxing plate off on the inside and see what we have to do. I built this fixture just out of some 3-inch angle and some old scrap I had laying around, just to hold the top ends of the frame rail in place. So as I work, I don't want to lose all my measurements. This cross membrane is going to have to come out. This was also modified badly. Had some bolts and stuff in it that came out. I'm going to torch these rivets out. We'll cut that off. This is pretty much the same way over here. And we'll cut that out to let the frame go free in the back. Hopefully it all doesn't self-destruct. I'll cut these boxing plates out in the back, get those old pieces out of the inside, and see what we have to do to heat and straighten this up. Okay, welcome back. I made this platform to put my stuff on while I'm working, so I don't have to keep walking around and reaching. You can see this is where that weld was. You can see how the frame tapers up here. So I'm going to cut that inside plate off. I'll bring the camera around just 3 or 4 inches inside of that, because this is where the biggest change is in out of vertical. So I'm hoping I can pull this in with clamps, weld this parallel to this surface, and well, I know I can pull it in because I already put big pipe clamps on the bottom and I pulled it into vertical. As long as I get this surface even with this surface, we're going to be okay. I think I'm going to make, when it comes time to weld, just a cut up here with a cut-off wheel and leave these two surfaces okay, bend them up where they belong, and then re-weld this joint, put a fish plate, and call it done. I think that's going to be all right. These are the layout lines and pilot holes for their rear spring perch. I already cleaned these up. I rebushed the rear springs and everything. I did that off camera, but just so you get an idea of where we're at and what's going on. I want to put a layout line. Just want to have a general idea where I'm at here. About 17 inches in. Just want to mark this going down this side. I don't want to cut too far. I think a lot of this problem is if I look at this weld bead on the inside, I hope this doesn't go too crazy. Son got me a new welding jacket for Christmas this year, which I greatly appreciate. I think it's almost 80 degrees here today. We're in Cleveland. It's sticky. It's hot. But when you're doing work like this, and I don't want to blow welding, well, not in this place welding, but you know, just all the grinding dust. It gets in your hair. It gets in your skin. It burns. So just as long as I'm doing this, I'm going to cut here first, across the top, and then over. Then we'll shed the jacket, and we'll look and see what we have to do to get that inside part off. All right. The older I get, the more concerned I am about safety. Too bad I can't get this to work. Nice. There we go. All right, let's cut and see what happens. gonna get a chisel. I'm hoping after I'm through most of that weld, I can break that off for there. I'll be right back. Hey. That's asking for stitches, huh? So I think I'm going to do the same thing here and grind this top edge off. And then maybe grab the Sawzall and we'll see what we can do about getting that inside plate off. Really not that much penetration at all. That's hot. I'm back. I got frustrated working on the other end down here. I don't know if you can see in the camera. Whatever. I got pissed off because it wasn't going well for me. I stopped. If I get angry, I'm going to botch something up. I know it. So I quit. Came out with the torches and the delicate hand the next day. Cut that plate off. I got some still photos I'm going to show you because there was very little penetration on those welds. With the torch, it came apart real easy. So as you see, I've got my jig in place. It's going to hold my frame rails parallel. This cross member goes. And I'm going to burn these rivets out first. it's hot. You saw me jump there. You get them up on your arms. I should be wearing my jacket, but it's hot, so I'm stupid. All right, let's get this knocked out, and this will be the last bit of disassembly we have to do on the frame, and hopefully everything else will heat up and bend back where it belongs, and we can start put it back together. Okay, man. I know that this may seem like a lot of time to get this done, but I'm really doing my best not to hurt the original frame at all. So, you know, it's seen enough damage, it's warped and in bad enough shape. I don't think there's any real metal damage, but there sure are some shape issues. So, and I know I got to fill all these holes with weld, and I'm going to weld bolts in here, cover. You'll see. I'm just trying to be careful not to make more work for myself as I go along. So if this takes an extra half hour, it could save me an hour or two down the road. I think really this is all I have to do as far as getting it cut up. We're going to start at that end, fill all the holes, box it, put a cross member in, come on back, put our next cross member in. Before we do that, we got to measure and locate our spring perches for the last time, get those holes drilled and ready. I think I'm going to drill the boxing plates, put the holes in them before I weld them on. And we're just going to work our way from front to back and clean it up and make sure it's straight as we go along. So thanks for watching. I know I got sound issues. I'm going to work on that. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I'm going to do something about the sound because I don't really like it either. But thanks for watching. See you in episode 3. Good night.